Hey, this is Seth with Badass Attraction, and in this video, we're gonna talk about the 6 deadliest conversation mistakes that you make with women. That we've all done this. It kills your chances with women. So let's get into it. So conversations, easy or hard. You know, the most common questions I get from guys have to do with what to do once you actually start a conversation with a woman. And it's like the first big challenge is actually getting up the confidence to engage her in the first place. And that's a big accomplishment. But then, this happens all the time. Hell, this sometimes still happens to me. You get brain freeze. And it's totally normal, and it's fixable. You know, I say it's like skydiving. Because the first time I went skydiving, my buddies and I, we took a course on how to steer the chute. We were gonna be professional skydivers by the time we're done with this. Well, we learned about wind currents, angling our descent, all sorts of things, physics, all sorts of shit. But guess what? When you're falling at 100 miles per hour, the wind is so intense, it's so fucking scary. It drives out your mouth like you just smoked a pound of weed. I couldn't remember jack shit, and I barely remembered to pull the chute. Out of all my friends, I'm actually the only one that actually pulled the chute. The other guys had to have their instructors do it. Okay? So, it's weird, you know, falling from an airplane is scary. For us as guys, emotionally, talking to women, we have that same experience. There's this sense, you know, you forget. So, you know, you might have read a ton of theories and techniques. Once you're actually talking to her, your brain gets stupid. You can't remember all the brilliant stuff that you learned, and you're just like, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh. And it's completely normal. It's the important thing is just to focus on these 6 things. 6 simple things that you need to do or not do in order to get over the initial, what we call the conversation hump. Once you get past that stage, it's clear sailing, and you'll be freed up to be yourself, and you'll be surprised by how natural it is to just talk to somebody. It's just this initial stupidity that we have to deal with. So mistake number 1 is breaking the 90-10 rule. Okay, most conversations, and think about this, they don't pick up steam until about 5 or 10 minutes in. You know, especially if it's a new person. If you know somebody for years, it's easy. You don't even have to say anything. But if you just met someone, you're talking to someone new, both people take time to warm up and get out of their heads, really. Especially with women. It might be easier if you're talking to a guy. You know, he's like, hey, what's up? The conversation needs to build momentum. So with guys, the problem is you're too impatient. You know, we want stuff to happen right away. You don't give the conversation a chance to build up the momentum. You expect too much too soon, the conversation ends up stalling. So here's the thing. You have to carry the conversation, at least 90% of it, for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, you can't let there be that thing where you kind of like defer to the woman, because they hate that anyway, because they want you to be a leader. They want you to be masculine. They don't want you to be feminine, looking for them to lead the conversation. So just keep talking. There are more details through the link below, but the key is that you lead. Puts her in receiving mode, not giving mode. You want to be in giving mode. You want her to be in receiving mode. Just keep talking. Even if you feel like you're saying stupid shit in the beginning, you just want to keep everything moving. Mistake number 2 is not recognizing signals. And this seems obvious, but you have to really tune into the woman. You just have to be present. You know, women complain this. They say this all the time. You know, men don't listen. Men don't pay attention. But often it's true. Either you're too much in your own head, or you just aren't used to really observing a woman's reaction, you know. Use your eyes and ears. Just pay attention. You don't have to train for 1,000 years to be a Jedi sex Yoda to just look and listen. If she seems bored, you think, oh, she's bored. Change it up. And here's a rule of thumb. When you're starting a conversation, you need more energy than the group that you're approaching, whether it's a group of people or even just one or 2 people. You know, not too much energy. You don't want to seem like you're... They say you don't want to, if she's at a moderate level and you come in like Jim Carrey, you're going to seem like you're on coke, right? You don't want that. But you know what I'm talking about. You have to, it takes an effort to actually begin a conversation. You have to be ready for it. It's like, I say it's like, you know, you go to the gym and you know you're going to run a couple of miles. Well, you have to be ready for that mentally, or you're just going to collapse. Mistake number 3. So not assuming rapport. Now this is key, guys. Rapport is... It's such a simple thing, and once you get it, everything changes. Okay, it's definitely not how we're trained as guys to act with women. Now, there's something I learned when I was in phone sales called an assumptive close, And it's really interesting because they train you to do this, and it feels really weird at first. But when I was selling stuff over the phone, I was like calling real estate agents and selling them advertising for their businesses. After you give the pitch, you say, "How will you be paying?" Which is like assuming that they're gonna buy. Whereas it's counterintuitive because most of us wait for people, especially women, to give us rapport. You kind of like this is the worst thing guys do with women. I learned it took me years to figure this out. Is you kind of want permission every step of the way. Like, oh, is it okay if I actually did this when I was like 14. I remember I was like, so can I put my arm around you? I was like asked permission to do horrible. Not I was 14. It's forgivable, but you need to assume rapport. Okay, so again, you don't want to talk in a stiff, formal way like she's a stranger, like waiting for her to give you the nod that says, yeah, we can talk. Don't wait. You're not going to get that permission. You have to talk to a woman like your old friends. And this feels natural after a while. Here's an example of something that happened to me recently. I was in line at the grocery store, and a girl, she left all her stuff on the conveyor and she walked away. And I was like, now, my nice guy instincts was to wait for her to come back and say, oh, here you go, miss. It's okay that you kept me waiting 5 minutes while you just sort of walked off and did your thing. Instead, I cut ahead of her, and she wasn't there. She comes back, and I looked at her and I said, I took your spot. You can't put your guard down like that. And she starts laughing, and we start a conversation, So my context was, I have the right to act like we know each other. I didn't say anything crude or crass. I just kind of made fun of her. And also, as again, I didn't give into that nice guy instinct, which is to be, oh, everything you do is perfect because you're a woman. Oh, I'll hold the door for 20 minutes for you. I'll let you go off, and my time isn't valuable, so you can just leave all your shit on this conveyor belt and go, shopping, and I'll just wait for you. No, I was like giving her shit, like she's a normal person, and women love that. But again, it was assuming rapport. Mistake number 4, interview mode. And I used to do this all the time. I gotta tell you, man, that's just the way my mind works. I like, you panic. You can't think of what to ask. You just start interviewing. So what do you do for a living? What do you do fun? Where did you grow up? It's not the questions that kill you because, I've like found myself, I'll be like, so are you going to school? What's your major? It's like, oh, those are conversation killers. It's not the questions. Rapid fire questions and fact-based answers, what they do is they destroy any sort of chemistry. The conversation needs to vibe back and forth. It's not supposed to feel like an interview. You want to create a space where you both feel free to start opening up and being relaxed and being yourself. That's what makes this enjoyable, and women really enjoy that. Mistake number 5, we alluded to this before, is letting her lead. Most guys are so unsure of themselves that they look for a woman to give them approval or permission before they take the lead. And this is different than what I said before about paying attention to signals. I mean, when you pay attention to a signal, it means you're adjusting, but you're not letting those signals dictate everything, okay? You don't want to let the woman lead. You're the man. We're not cavemen. You're not going to grab her by her ponytail and drag her off and have your way with her. But emotionally, energetically, women want that. They want you to be masculine. So if you look for her and let her lead, it's going to kill the attraction. And again, most guys do this because they're scared of pissing her off or choosing the wrong topic. Look, women follow whatever tone you set for the conversation. If you're fun and flirty, she'll be too. And even if she isn't into the topic you bring up, she'll respond to you taking initiative. So here's the biggest mistake, though. Okay, the biggest mistake is not getting help. Right? When I was 21 in the 90s, there was no internet, there were no books or advice on this kind of thing. Me and every other guy just had to muddle through it and hope for the best. And it's freaking painful to want to meet a woman, to get laid, not be able to. And I know it from years of personal experience. I don't wish that pain on anyone. And even worse is getting so close. We get into the conversation. It's like you can just taste it. But then you don't know how to escalate that into attraction and actually get her home, and you end up with like another female friend, which used to happen to me all the time. There's no excuse, guys. So what I want you to do is click the link below this video. You're going to be taken to a web page that looks like this. Type in your email address. This guy, Bobby Rio, is amazing. He's going to send you a 27-page ebook with word-for-word lines for getting girls. And all of Bobby's stuff is all about conversation. So all those specific questions that you have. It's not only about how to have a conversation in terms of how you need to be, how you need to think, how you need to approach it in terms of leading and not leading, but he's going to get into great detail about what to say. And you need those two things. You really need to study this like you're studying a topic in school with that much seriousness. You can get a lot of great information from videos and free things like this, but I really recommend that you check out what Bobby has to say, read his stuff, and buy his stuff. Take it seriously. Invest some of your money, invest some of your time in this, because it should be important enough to you to do that. Everything that's important to me, whether it was learning how to get women, learning how to be a better speaker, learning how to build my own business, I actually invested time and money in learning those things. I didn't just sort of say, oh, I'm going to just try to get all these freebies and shit like that. Okay, so take it seriously, apply these lessons, apply these trainings, and you're going to see your life start to change. You're going to see yourself being more confident. You're going to feel better when you're out in public, when you're out socially talking to women, and you're actually going to feel like a completely different person, and it's going to be very easy for you to talk to women, to have rapport, to have more fun, and then have those great moments where you get the kiss, and you're making out, and you're actually fucking quite a few different women. So go ahead, click the link below this video, start your journey towards that excellent destination, and I will be in touch soon with some more videos.